afternoon. My name is Sergeant Ostrom, and today I'm going to be going over military and professional bearing. Things I'm going to be going over are obviously how they are different, but also how they are the same, and how they might apply to your everyday life. So first off, I'm going to be going over military bearing. Simple things that can come into military bearing is obviously having the proper uniform. Something as simple as making sure all your patches are on the correct way and making sure they're on the correct side. Your name tape and U.S. Army tape are on the correct side. But also something like making sure your boot laces are tucked into your boot, or making sure that you don't have a tattered up uniform. If you have a field uniform, then obviously you're going to want to use that in the field and only in the field. You want to have clean and untattered uniforms for your everyday life in garrison. It's something like that can go a long ways when it comes to showing a leader what you're capable of, showing them that, hey, I'm not all jacked up while I'm in garrison and I have the sergeant major chewing me a new one because my bootlace is out, or I have the patches on wrong, or my uniform is messed up. People can get chewed out for that by higher ups. At the same time, it's also having the proper respect for everybody, whether it's a lower enlisted or the sergeant major or the BC or whoever it is, making sure you're having the proper customs and courtesies, saying, good morning or good afternoon. If it's an officer, you're obviously going to salute them, but at the same time, if you're talking to a first sergeant, or even in my case, if I'm a sergeant and I'm talking to a staff sergeant, I'm still going to go to parade rest, because it's that proper customs and courtesies that goes a long ways when it's showing the military, your leadership, hey, I am having that military bearing. I have that instilled into me. Next, I'm going to move into professional bearing and how it applies to daily life. So no matter what, having that professional bearing is key, because no matter what time of the day is, you are a soldier 24/7, and whether you're in uniform or out of uniform, you still have to present yourself as a professional, because you could be at a bar and you could be drunk, but someone wants to come and step up to you and think they can fight you. You have to think in your mind, hey, I'm a direct representation of the United States military. Is this something that they would think is okay? Me getting into a fight while I'm drunk and, MPs get called if it's on post or no matter where it is, and I'm end up in jail, who's going to think I'm a professional? It's something like that can really go a long way, showing that, hey, no matter what mindset I'm in, if I'm drunk or if I'm sober, I can still make those professional decisions. At the same time, it's also how you talk to people. If you're in a brief with anybody, it's all about tact. Having that professional demeanor when you're talking to a lieutenant or a staff sergeant or the sergeant major is vital, because it shows them, hey, he really knows what he's talking about, and he puts it off in a way that everyone can understand. So when you're speaking to them, you always want to use that demeanor that you wouldn't use with your Joes that are more comfortable around you, that don't have the power to get an Article 15 put on you, so to speak. So having that professional demeanor while speaking is also very vital. It's also on how you present yourself. So making, I'm standing tall, I'm making myself look like I know what I'm talking about. Even if you don't know what you're talking about, you still want to show, hey, he knows what he's talking about. You want to be confident, because that shows, hey, even if he's wrong, he's still confident in what he does. You could correct him, and obviously it's also about constructive criticism, being able to take that constructive criticism when you are being corrected. That shows professional bearing. It shows that, hey, he's willing to learn. He's all about furthering his career the correct way. So when you're presenting yourself to a sergeant major or BC, like in the promotion board, having that professional demeanor, standing at attention while saying the creed of the non-commissioned officers or the soldier's creed, whatever it is, and also sitting at the position of attention, showing that, hey, he's doing this the right way. That all shows that professional bearing. That shows that he's really doing what he needs to. But it's also about knowing what you're talking about, knowing that you did the research on certain subjects that you are briefing or that you're being asked questions on. Hey, he really did that research on it, goes a long way, because it shows that you're willing to learn and you're willing to sacrifice your time to do things the right way. Both of these concepts, the military bearing and professional bearing, are very similar, but they're also very different. They're similar because they both build good leaders. Having military bearing is something that is instilled into you from basic training. Going to parade rest and having the proper customs and courtesies, that is instilled into you. But also, it shows that professionalism because you give that proper respect to the people that deserve it. But it's also similar they're also very similar when it comes to briefing. When you're briefing these people, showing that you know what you're talking about it's very vital. It shows that you know how to research stuff in the military. You know how to find these ADPs or these field manuals. It shows that you can do all this, and it shows that you can be a great leader, because if you have a Joe come up to you and they have these issues, say they don't know how to properly inspect their ASUs, you can tell them, hey, we can go through this together because obviously I've done this before, so I can help you with it, but I'm also going to make you learn how to do it. So we're going to look up FM 670-1 because that is the FM to show you this is the proper military uniform, this is how it's supposed to be set up, and this is the regulations on it all. So this is going to show them, like, hey, he really knows what he's talking about. He's actually squared away when it comes to knowing certain things. It's all these little aspects that can really change the view of what a leader thinks in you. Having this knowledge, even if it's not a lot, you have the knowledge of, the ranges of the M4 or how to field strip it and properly clean it. Things that Joes can go to you for is very vital, because you are going to have Joes under you one day, and they're going to come and ask you questions. They're going to ask you things, and if you don't know, even knowing where to find it is good to know. Even if you don't know it right then, you can tell them, hey, let's go look this up, and that's good. In conclusion, both of these aspects, military bearing and professional bearing, are extremely different in certain ways, but they're also very important when it comes to the military lifestyle. At this time, this concludes my brief. Do I have any questions?